in June 2023, at a construction site on the outskirts of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, a worker suddenly discovered a decomposing body floating under a water-filled pit. The victim was identified as a famous South Korean streamer, which caused an uproar not only in Cambodia but also throughout Southeast Asia when the case was discovered. The body was found without a bra, with underwear worn inside out, a swollen and discolored face, and signs of early decomposition. The police began investigating and identified the suspects as a Chinese couple with close ties to the victim. It remains unclear whether this is a standalone murder case or something more horrifying behind it. The answer will be revealed now. Please like and subscribe, because the story you are about to hear is not just a case, it is a journey into the darkness of truth, where the victim might have been betrayed by those she trusted most. On the morning of June 6, 2023, at a village on the outskirts of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, a worker operating an excavator in a waterlogged pit was startled when he discovered a red object wrapped tightly in electrical wires floating in the mud. Noticing something unusual, he called security to check. Upon closer inspection, both men were stunned to realize it was a decomposing body. The police were immediately called to the scene. After an initial examination, the victim was identified as a woman, estimated to be between 30 to 40 years old, with pale skin and physical features typical of East Asians. Although the face had been severely disfigured, some personal belongings were still found on the body, but no phone. Notably, the victim was not wearing a bra, and her underwear was inside out, raising suspicions of possible sexual assault. From fingerprints, the victim was identified as Byun Ah Young, 33 years old, a South Korean citizen and former famous BJ live streamer on Africa TV. She entered Cambodia on June 1, 2023, for tourism. Byun Ah Young, also known as Ong, was not only famous on Africa TV, but also a familiar face on Instagram, YouTube, and had participated in numerous live streams in China, attracting tens of thousands of viewers per broadcast. However, by March 2023, the online community was shocked when she announced she was taking a break from all online activities to find a normal life. In a private message to a close friend, Byun Ah Young revealed the real reason. "I feel like someone is following me. Every time I go outside, I feel unsafe. I need to take a break from social media." From that point on, Byun Ah Young remained relatively silent on social media. At the end of May, she unexpectedly left South Korea for Cambodia. According to entry records, she stayed at the apartment of a married couple she knew. The husband was a Chinese citizen, and the wife was Korean, living in a high-end apartment in the southern part of Phnom Penh. The building had a strict security system, requiring guests to register for entry, with cameras at all lobby and elevator entrances. Byun Ah Young was recorded as staying at the apartment since June 1st. On the afternoon of June 4th, she told her housemate that she wasn't feeling well and would go to a nearby clinic. This was the last time they saw her. The building's lobby camera recorded Byun Ah Young leaving the apartment at 3:57 p.m., wearing a black sports outfit, matching the clothes found on her body 2 days later. 17 minutes later, a street camera recorded her walking while looking at her phone, heading towards a private clinic with a blue sign. The clinic was located on Street 446, Boeung Kenkang District, with a blue metal door with the word Fu Happiness on it. No doctor's name, just some chairs, a drug shelf, and a sign listing almost all medical specialties: Chinese medicine, Western medicine, obstetrics, dermatology, acupuncture. According to nearby shopkeepers, the clinic was often empty, with some days passing without any visitors. When there were customers, most of them were Chinese, and it was rare to see Koreans visiting. A street camera clearly recorded Byun Ah Young entering the clinic at 4:14 p.m., but no one saw her leave. Exactly 1 hour and 40 minutes later, at 5:52 p.m., the camera recorded the blue metal door being closed. At the same time, the blue sign unexpectedly turned off. 20 minutes passed in silence. At 6:12 p.m., a woman in a white coat exited the clinic, glancing around suspiciously before quickly re-entering. At 6:19 p.m., the sign lit up again. Later, a man on a motorcycle was seen repeatedly entering and exiting the clinic area. He carried black bags whose contents were unclear, and his last departure was at 9:05 p.m. Everything seemed to have ended, but at 12:53 a.m., a blue 2007 Toyota Prius with license plate 2B299717 unexpectedly stopped in front of the clinic. The camera showed a woman sitting in the passenger seat getting out. The car reversed close to the gate, but due to the angle, no one knew what happened inside for the next 10 minutes. At 1:03 a.m., the woman returned to the passenger seat. The car left the clinic, silently as if it had never been there. From 4:14 p.m. to 1:03 a.m., more than 8 hours, Byun-Ah Young completely disappeared from all surveillance cameras, and all the events above seemed suspicious. The investigation clarified the identities of the two main figures captured on camera. They were the clinic owners, a Chinese couple named Lai Van Tio, 30, and Tai Tui Kian, 39. What's surprising is that neither of them had medical licenses, and the clinic operated illegally under the name Comprehensive Medical Consultation. According to immigration records, the couple had only arrived in Cambodia about 6 months prior, lived a reclusive life, and had little contact with neighbors. They spoke Mandarin and avoided discussing their background. Nearby residents described them as wealthy but cold, often traveling by motorcycle or an old car, but never drawing attention until the crime occurred. The police began expanding their investigation into Tai Tu Quian, the wife of the couple running the clinic. They discovered she came from a family with a traditional Chinese medicine background in Guangzhou, China. Meanwhile, Lai Van Tio, her husband, was just a manual laborer. However, through his connection with his wife's family, he had learned some basic healthcare techniques, such as massage, intravenous injections, and even using unlicensed drugs. After having a child, the couple decided to move to Cambodia to start a business. According to records, they entered Cambodia from China in December 2022 and rented an apartment and space to open a clinic in Phnom Penh. Currently, the couple is confirmed to be raising a 7-month-old child, which added pressure to the investigation. As if they were guilty, they committed the crime with a child in the house. The police's hypothesis: after Byun-Ah Young died, her body was stuffed into the trunk of the Toyota Prius and transported to a construction site about 20 kilometers from the clinic, where the body was discovered on June 6. Nearby security cameras recorded the blue Prius with license plate 2B29717 turning around 5 times between 1:30 and 2 a.m., as if searching for a spot to dispose of the body. Residents near the area recalled, "I heard a car start in the middle of the night, and then someone screamed. It was unclear whether it was a man or a woman." Another person described hearing a loud crash and a strange smell in the air. Additionally, the investigation revealed this was not the first time Byun-Ah Young had visited the clinic. Security cameras confirmed that at 11:58 a.m. on June 3rd, she had been there, wearing the same black sports outfit as the one found on her body later. Although it is unclear what she came for, this appearance proves that she was no stranger to the clinic, increasing suspicions about the previous relationship between the victim and the suspects. On June 16th, the Cambodian police officially arrested Lai Van Tio and Tai Tui Quian for investigation regarding the disposal of a corpse and suspicion of organized murder. During questioning, Lai Van Tio completely denied killing Byun-Ah Young. He only admitted, "I saw her unconscious and thought she was dead. I panicked, so I disposed of the body." He further stated, "I didn't know she was famous, and I didn't know her real name. I never watched her live streams or social media." However, the police were skeptical of this statement due to several inconsistencies with camera data, evidence at the scene, and the victim's personal belongings. At this point, public opinion in South Korea began to erupt. The hashtag Justice for Byun-Ah Young spread across Twitter, with the online community demanding the release of the suspects' identities, calling for an independent investigation, and insisting the case not be forgotten. According to his statement to the police, Lai Van Tio said Byun-Ah Young first visited the clinic on June 3rd. She just rested for a while and left without using any services. On the afternoon of June 4, the day of the incident, she returned to the clinic for the second time. This time, she requested an injection of an unknown substance, suspected to be an illegal drug. Lai Van Teo claimed that he refused this request. Instead, he proposed injecting her with an immunity-boosting serum, which he said would help her recover her strength. Some Korean media reported that it was just saline solution. However, investigative materials in Cambodia confirmed that the substance injected was a serum, with its composition still unknown. After a few minutes of injection, Byuna Young began having seizures, her whole body losing control. Instead of calling emergency services, Lai Van Teo decided to give her 4 to 5 pills of Ku Tum Huan, a type of Chinese herbal medicine. After a few minutes of silence, her body became motionless. She had no response and passed away shortly thereafter. Facing the sudden death, Lai Van Teo panicked. He realized he was practicing medicine illegally. Without a license and insurance, he was terrified. That's why he decided to dispose of the body. At that time, Tai Tui Kien, his wife, was caring for their baby in the next room. She was unaware of what was happening. Taking advantage of his wife going to the bathroom, Lai Van Teo alone dragged Byuna Young's body into the trunk of the Prius. When he got in the car, Tai Tui Kien did not notice anything unusual. She sat in the passenger seat. On the way, Lai Van Teo stopped the car at a roadside restaurant. He asked his wife to get out of the car, and it was then that Tai Tui Kien heard about what had happened. Once alone, he drove to the disposal location, a construction site over 20 kilometers away. After disposing of the body, he returned to pick up his wife as if nothing had happened. Both the husband and wife denied injecting the illegal substance into the victim. They claimed that if it was done, it was at Byuna Young's request. The substance in question was propofol, a high-dose anesthetic drug known for its ability to induce euphoria and hallucinations, and it is highly addictive. Propofol is strictly controlled in South Korea and has been involved in many medical scandals in the entertainment industry. In South Korea, propofol, the substance suspected to have been used in Byuna Young's death, is also known as happy milk or milk injection, due to its milky white appearance and the euphoric feeling it produces. Propofol was at the center of several medical scandals, especially in the entertainment industry. In early 2022, famous actor Yoo Ah-in was also arrested for using this substance illegally. A Korean journalist conducted an independent investigation in Phnom Penh. The result, for just $13 you could buy 50 milliliters of propofol at roadside pharmacies without a prescription. However, when the journalist visited pharmacies near the apartment where Byuna Young had stayed, all the staff claimed they had never seen a girl like her. It is currently unclear whether the victim used propofol. The sample has been sent to an independent analysis lab overseas. A Cambodian investigator stated that the victim's urine test was negative for illegal substances, including propofol. However, he admitted the limited forensic capabilities locally. The autopsy report provided by the Cambodian police was not a standard forensic analysis. It was only a superficial description, lacking toxicology, DNA tests, or signs of assault. In fact, there were contradictions in the report. The initial section described damage to the eye socket, bruising on the neck, and scratches on the skin, suggesting assault. But later sections denied any physical interference. More importantly, no DNA tests were conducted. This makes the assault accusation unverifiable. When asked about this, Lai Van Teo strongly rebutted, "If you suspect I assaulted her, just test the DNA. If I did it, there would definitely be traces left." However, this challenge was meaningless, because no DNA samples were ever collected. The victim was buried without proper forensic procedures. The Cambodian police explained that in-depth testing can only be done with a prosecutor's order, and a valid reason must be provided. In this case, they didn't find sufficient grounds. This sparked outrage in the South Korean community. A foreign citizen dies at an illegal clinic and no one bothers to collect DNA samples? Another hypothesis was raised. Byuna Young may not have been abused, and the marks on her body were a result of natural decomposition in Cambodia's hot and humid climate. Her body had been immersed in the mud and water for at least a day, from the afternoon of June 4th, the time of death suspected to have occurred at the clinic, until it was found on the morning of June 6. The humid environment accelerated the decomposition process. The face could have swollen, the skin turned blue, due to bacteria from the intestines spreading and blood pooling after death. These symptoms could easily be mistaken for signs of assault. However, as of now, Cambodia has not released the official cause of death of the victim. The victim's family confirmed Byuna Young was not a drug addict, had no history of substance abuse, and did not use psychiatric medication. Initially, her family refused the Cambodian police's request for an autopsy, wanting the deceased to rest in peace. However, under Cambodian law, an autopsy is required if ordered by a prosecutor, especially in unusual deaths involving foreigners. With the support of Cambodia's judicial authorities and the South Korean embassy, the victim's family consented to the autopsy. Due to limitations in technique and expertise, the samples were sent to an independent forensic agency overseas, likely in Australia or New Zealand, for testing. On June 14, 2023, the Cambodian police officially charged Lai Van Thieu, 30, and Tai Tuy Quyen, 39, with murder and brutal torture. If convicted, both could face life imprisonment, according to the provisions for serious cases involving foreigners. However, in the absence of official information and the unreported forensic results, social media erupted with a series of controversial hypotheses. The first hypothesis suggested Byuna Young came to Cambodia for an illegal cosmetic surgery, tipped off by friends in the streaming community. A security guard who was present at the scene testified that he saw a needle mark on the victim's buttocks, raising suspicions of buttock enhancement using filler or liquid silicone. The bruises on her body may not be signs of assault, but complications after undergoing an unsafe surgery at an unlicensed facility. Many netizens believe that Lai Van Thieu's clinic was actually part of an illegal cosmetic surgery ring, catering to East Asian clients, especially streamers, influencers, and amateur models. Byuna Young may have been introduced to this clinic by the couple she was staying with, a detail that complicates the suspicions even further. Additionally, a source from South Korea revealed that Byuna Young had visited Cambodia in 2019, coinciding with the time the couple was believed to have started operating in Phnom Penh. This raised the question, could they have known each other before? And was it this relationship that brought her back to Cambodia in 2023? The second hypothesis took a darker turn. Byuna Young may have been the victim of a human trafficking or covert sex trade ring, a persistent problem in Cambodia. According to this theory, she visited the clinic both times voluntarily, with no signs of being coerced from the outside. However, her death may have stemmed from resistance during the process of being deceived or forced, turning the case into a tragedy. The third hypothesis, Lai Van Thieu's clinic served as a front for a covert drug trafficking operation. Over several months, the clinic had almost no clients, but remained in a high-end apartment building, paying high rent, raising questions about the real source of its finances. Moreover, the clinic listed a wide range of treatments: Chinese medicine, Western medicine, obstetrics, dermatology, psychiatry, acupuncture. Yet inside there were almost no medical devices, just some chairs and a drug shelf. This made it look like a cover clinic to disguise illegal drugs, including propofol and other synthetic drugs. According to this assumption, Byuna Young may have visited the clinic to buy drugs for personal use. Or according to Lai Van Thieu's family's statement, she had injected an illegal substance beforehand and then requested more serum to balance her condition. However, this hypothesis faced many rebuttals. Firstly, the victim's urine test came back negative for illegal substances, including propofol and amphetamines. Secondly, Byuna Young's behavior, walk, and gestures on the security camera were completely normal. There were no signs of someone who had just used drugs. Unresolved questions continued to pile up. Why did she choose Cambodia as her destination? Who introduced her to the clinic? Was there a middleman in South Korea involved? The initial autopsy lacked many important forensic procedures, including DNA testing, biological traces, and detailed toxicology, causing public doubts about possible accomplices or interference. The case gradually became a maze of contradictions, gaps, and unverified hypotheses, while the silence from the Cambodian police further fueled suspicions. The only thing that is certain, the true cause of Byuna Young's death remains a mystery. The unusual and hard-to-explain details make this case extremely complicated and sensitive from a diplomatic standpoint. Finding the truth is inevitable, but with the political, legal, and media pressures weighing heavily, getting a clear answer in a short period of time is almost impossible. We will update you with the latest information on the case. This video ends here. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so we can bring more strange, emotional stories. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. And see you in the next video. And see you in the next video.